Has your treble hook lost all of its feathers or hair on it? Or do you have one that you want to dress up? Y'all hang on. We're going to dress a treble hook. Let's do it. To get started, well, we've got a number 4 treble hook right here in the vise. And other things you're going to need, well, you're going to need a bucktail. And we're going to do a white one here. You will also need a bobbin with some thread in it. And I'm just going to use some red thread, a pair of scissors, and if you want some kind of accent flash, so I'm going to use this Flash Boo stuff here. It's kind of a shad colored deal, so that's what we're going to use. And then the last thing I'm going to use is some Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails, and we're going to use that to lock the thread together. So with the thread here, we're just going to make a couple light loops here, kind of get this thing started. And the little tag right here, we're just going to take our scissors here, if we can get it pinched up, and just snip that off. Then we're going to just take our thread, we're just going to put a little base of thread down the shank of the hook here. And really what that's going to do is give that hair just something to kind of bite to. Now once we get that on, we're just going to take our Sally Hansen's here, and we're just going to take a little bit of this, and we're just going to put a drop on those threads there, just to kind of lock that thread onto the hook. So what we're going to do with the bucktail is we're just going to take a small piece right here, kind of like this right here, and we're just going to snip that off. Now that we've got that bucktail, and we don't want a whole lot of it, I mean, you can use as much as you want, but you want to take that stuff and kind of pull this underdubbing out of it, just so that doesn't bulk your tail up here too much. And that's all we're going to take, is that right there. Now what I like to do is I kind of like to measure this thing up here and kind of measure how much of this we want to hang back. And I think that's about what I want right there. So I'm just going to take this and make a little loose wrap. See where it's at, kind of spread it around just a little bit, and then I'm going to make about 4 or 5 tight wraps on that. Now here's the thing, you can either cut this off and retie it, but what I like to do is I like to take this thing and I like to bend it back over like this right here and make a loop on that. And that's going to put a little bit of layer into your bucktail here. So you got a shorter piece and then you got a longer piece. And all we're going to do is we're going to make some couple of wraps on that and kind of lock it in. And then we'll come up here and make a few wraps right along the top of it there, just to have a spot to put the next piece in. I'm also going to take my scissors right here, and these couple of pieces that are kind of hanging out there, I'm just going to snip them off. So we're just going to loosen our vise up here now, and we're just going to rotate it just a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And we're just going to move to this next section of the treble hook. So we got another piece of bucktail, and we're just going to lay this in here. Hold that on there. Make a little light, couple light wraps. Kind of get that positioned where we want it. We'll give it a couple of tight wraps, and then we're just going to do that again. We're just going to lay this piece over, make a couple of tight wraps on that piece right there, then come up here to the top and give a couple of wraps, and then we're just going to snip these stragglers off just like that. And we're going to rinse and repeat one more time on this side right here. All right, we've got our third piece. We're just going to lay this in here like we have the other ones. We're just going to make a loose wrap, a couple of loose wraps, kind of adjust that just a little bit, and then we're going to cinch it down a couple of times, And then we're going to take this piece right here and we're going to fold it over. Just like this right here. All right, so we're going to look at our bucktail here. And I think we're going to be good with it. Got a few stragglers here. We're going to cut them out. We're going to be pretty good with that, I believe. So right now you could take this bucktail, tie a knot in it, and be finished with it. But we're going to add a little bit of this flash boo into it, and just add a little bit of sparkle to it. So we're going to take a couple of strands of this, and then we're going to tie it in. All right, we've got our flash boo here, crystal flash or whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to lay that on there. We'll make a light wrap. Then we're going to take that and we're going to pull it down. Add a couple of wraps, and then we're just going to keep doing that until we've got it all used up. Kind of like this right here. And then we're going to give it a couple of pretty good little wraps right there. And then what I like to do is to take my scissors, just cut all those little pieces where they're all separated. And then we've got some flash and our treble hook, kind of like that right there. All right, at this point, I kind of like to put a little knot into this thing. And I'll just take this thing and twist it kind of like this right here and put a knot into it. And I'll do this a couple of times. But that's not going to be our final knot. So I like to kind of just get that and secure that in there. And then I just like to take my thread here and we're just going to clean all this up. Where we've got a nice little taper up to the hook. When we start getting it in there, we're going to look, turn it around, and we're going to look to see where we need to clean it up a little bit more. I think we need to put a little bit more right in here. Kind of like that right there. And then for our knot, we're just going to take a piece of fishing line. We're going to lay this in here. I'm going to give it about 10 or 15 wraps. Like that right there. And then we're going to take our scissors, get this little tag in there. Then we're going to pass that through that loop right there, like this right here. And then we're going to pull that through, right like that. And pull that down and cinch it down there. And then we're just going to take our scissors and cut the tag end off. Now you could take this thing and fish it just like this, but with these trebles, I like to take Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails and just put a little bit on there. Just so it'll lock it all into place there. And you won't have fish pulling all your little strands out. Kind of like that right there. and we're going to let it dry, and when it dries, we'll be back. Well, here we go. Here's our dressed treble up. It's with a bucktail. If you wanted to, you could cut this off right here, but I kind of like to leave a few of these longs. It lets that thing kind of pulse a little bit more, and anyways, that's what I like to do. Well, if you guys like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and maybe hit that subscribe button if you want to help support the channel. I'm Rodney with eFishin. We'll catch y'all out on the lake next time. We're out.